I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube, and today I'm going to show you an awesome cross stitch finishing. We worked with Lori Holt to come up with this idea, and the pattern that we're finishing today is the Pumpkins for Sale by Lori Holt. And what we're using is a frame from Hobby Lobby, Prim fabric collection by Lori Holt, her Be Cute natural lace, and this piece right here is going to be stitched on Barley 25 count, and my sample was stitched with Weeks Dye Works. This one was stitched with DMC, and we're going to show you how to put that together now. Let's gather our supplies. We started with a wooden frame from Hobby Lobby. We're going to be using two different sizes of sticky board. We're going to use an 11 by 14 and a 16 by 20. Prim fabric collection by Lori Holt. 80/20 batting, Be Cute lace. We're going to use two of the sizes. On the back, we're going to put a library card from Lori Holt. It has all of the information, so if we want to refer to that in the future, we can. We're going to use the It's So Emma finishing tape, a friction pin, some jute to hang it, and a hot glue gun, and we're going to be using a thimble so we don't burn ourselves. And of course, you need your finished piece that we're going to frame. Our first step is we're going to mount this cross stitch piece on sticky board. We found that measuring 1/2 inch all the way around the design is going to fit nicely on that Hobby Lobby frame that we have. I'm going to turn my piece to the back, and we're going to mark with a friction pin 1/2 inch around the design. And a friction pin will disappear with heat later. And I'm going to start with something that has a really easy way to measure. So that sign at the top is a great way to measure. But I want to measure 1/2 inch from the top of this little hat. So I will use the 3/4 inch line here. And you just kind of move your piece so that it ends up slightly straight. And I'm using a friction pin that will disappear with heat later. And then just do that on all sides. And I'll put my line here on this existing line. I'll find the furthest point over, which is this little pumpkin stem. And this is just a guide to get an approximate size. And this bottom pumpkin is your furthest, so you'll just kind of move this. Then we will take and measure this, and it comes out to about 13.5 by 10.5. We're going to take our 11 by 14 inch sticky board, which is our smaller sticky board, and cut it down to 10.5 by 13.5. I'm going to go ahead and just use the lines on my mat to do that. So first I'll cut the smaller side, and I'm just cutting it down about 1/2 inch. And I'm using a rotary cutter that I use for cross stitch, which it says sticky. I'm going to cut this down. You have to kind of push really hard to get it to push down. Sometimes you have to do it twice. So there's the 10.5. And then I just need to cut about 1/2 inch off the other side. And we're going to take this little sticky part off. And we're going to put batting on this side. So I'll probably put my batting down first, flatten it out, put this down. Now I will just cut around the edge to get the batting flush with the sticky board. So our sticky board is ready. I'm going to take my cross-stitched piece and I'm going to cut about 1 inch around the outside edge so I have less fabric to work with. And then we're going to place this down. Take the batting side, place it around your lines. I'm going to start with the It's Sew finishing tape, and I'm going to put some tape at the top and the bottom. Just pick one side that you want to work with. And at this point, you can either do finishing tape or hot glue. I am more comfortable with finishing tape. Pull the little paper piece off of your tape. This is double-sided finishing tape. And then you want to fold over. And we're just going to, this will re-stick, so you don't want to stick it all the way down. You just want to see, just stick it a little bit so that you can test it before you. That's why I like working with finishing tape, because you can position it easier than you can with hot glue, and you're less likely to burn yourself. Then you want to look at your front and you want to see if it is straight, and just kind of look at your lines. Looks really good. So I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to start in the center. Just press where it's really nice and flat. Looks really nice. We're going to do the other two sides. Now I'm going to do the other two sides, and you just leave a little bit of a gap here. You don't go all the way to the edge. And again, I'm using my scissors that are labeled as paper, so that I'm not ruining any of my good scissors. Pull the paper side off and do the same thing you did before. It looks really good. So I'm gonna stick this down from the center out and just kind of leave your corners just like this. So I've left my corners just like this, and we're going to miter them. And in the end, we want it to look a little bit like this. And using a hot glue gun here will give us better results. So what I'm going to do is just take my hot glue gun, put a tiny bit of glue. The less, the better. I'm using a thimble so that I don't burn myself, and you just put it nice and flat and do that on all 4 corners. I have all my corners down. I've looked at the front and I'm really happy with the results of how it looks. And then I have taken this piece to the iron and just put a little press around the edge, and that's going to take my friction pin off. Now we're going to work on the fabric piece behind it. We're going to take our 16 by 20 inch sticky board. We're going to take the measurements we took previously on our cross stitch piece. We're going to add 1 inch on all sides. That's going to give you 2 inches. So we're going to add 2 inches to each, and that means we're going to cut this down to 12.5 by 15.5. So on the very first side, we're going to cut that down to 15.5. I'm just going to use my ruler. Align one of the lines of my Creative Grids ruler on the very bottom so I get a straight line, and cut. We're going to cut the other side 12.5. Do the same thing. And line up this line. And now we have a rectangle. This prim fabric, you can see you can do it on the straight, which your lines are going this way, or you can place your sticky board on the diagonal, which we think looks better. So this is how we're going to place our fabric. So we'll take the paper backing off, and I'm just going to make some lines so I know which line I want to line up with, kind of over here, so that I know that I'm getting this straight. I'm going to cut around 1 inch, and then we'll look at the front. We can save this big piece of fabric for another project. Now we'll turn our piece over and make sure it looks straight before we put any of our tape down. Just make sure everything is aligning. And then on the back, you're going to do the same exact thing with the finishing tape by Itso Emma and the hot glue gun, and we'll come back when that's done. So now I have my fabric piece finished. This is the front and the back, and on the fabric piece I did not use batting. Now we're going to move to adding lace. We're using the Be Cute Natural Lace by Lori Holt, and there are 3 sizes. We're going to use the medium size for our fabric piece and the small piece for our cross stitch piece, and we'll save this for another project. So it's easier to just take this all the way off to work with it. So we've taken our medium lace and ironed it to get any wrinkles out. There's a little scallop at the very bottom, a little crochet scallop. We're going to put that right on the edge, and on the front I'll show you what that's going to look like. And so you will just see that much. Now of course you can do more, you can do less, you can do whatever looks good to you. What Lori and I decided is that that would look the best. So we'll start in the center of one of the sides. Now I cut the edge of this so it's nice and straight, and we're just going to work in little sections, and I'm going to put the glue right on the edge, and I'm going to put as little as possible. Do about 1 inch and stop. And then we'll just put that right on the edge using the scallop as a guide. Let that sit and dry, and then we'll move on. You can look at the front, reposition. And on this, I think slow and steady is the best way to do this instead of fast. Just go really slow. And you're going to do that all the way around the entire edge, and I'll show you how to do the corner. Now for the corner, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the first corner. And we'll just curve it. And then if you want, you can put a wonder clip here to keep it in place. And you'll just keep going all the way around all four sides. So when you get to the end, you'll have a little bit of lace left over. I'm gonna fold this over in a miter, basically just a little triangle. I'm gonna put a dab of glue and I'm gonna let that sit and dry. And then I'm just gonna overlap this a tiny bit behind. Now I will cut that, look on the front, and that looks nice. So now on the front, I'm just gonna kind of get these a little bit flat, and you can go to your iron and just press the corner. Now we will take our stitched piece and our small trim. We're gonna start on the very bottom this time. Cut a little straight edge. And on this one, we're just gonna put the very bottom of the lace on there, and it's gonna look just like this. Then we'll turn it over and we're gonna do the same exact thing. So you're gonna repeat on this one. This one is a little bit skinnier, so that's why we're doing this one second, because it will be a little bit trickier, but since you have experience on the other one, it shouldn't be too hard. And do the same thing, just a little bit of glue, and just do a little section at a time, and you will start and end the same exact way as the other piece, and we'll be back when we're done. So we have our fabric piece and our cross stitch piece, and you can remember in the beginning we left an inch around, and here we're going to hot glue around the edge and place it on top. Let that dry, and now we're gonna put this on our wooden frame. So now you just put this down, and I wanna have it centered all the way around. So I'm gonna kind of just look and get it centered. So this looks about 3 1/4, and I'm measuring from the edge of the blue to the edge of this inside frame, and that's centered. And that's a little over 2. So it needs to go up a tad. And now we're just gonna glue it down. It's hard to do on camera, so we're gonna do it off camera, but we're just gonna put our hot glue gun right under here and place it down. And you will want to use hot glue for this step instead of finishing tape so that it will adhere to the wood. This is all centered and nice, and if you're gonna set this on a shelf, you can be done at this point. We wanna hang this on a wall. So we're gonna make our own wall hanger. We're gonna turn this around, and we're gonna measure 2 inches in from the edge of the frame, and just put a little dot or line. We're gonna cut some jute 27.5 inches long, and we're going to staple gun this to the top. And now I'm going to put the Lori Holt library card on this design. And what we always put is the name of the design, the designer, the date I finished, who stitched it, exactly what thread and frame that we used. And the reason we're doing that is if I ever want to make another one, or if my friend wants to make one, I'll remember what I did. And I will just put some finishing tape on the back of this and place this down. And you just put that in, and if you don't want it to fall out, you could put a little bit of finishing tape there and it will stick and unstick. Totally optional. I had a lot of fun finishing the pumpkins for sale with you today. Thank you to Lori Holt for helping us come up with this design. We hope you try this at home, and I'll see you next time.